Welcome everyone to this edition of the Weightlifting World podcast. Today we're joined by one of the brightest rising stars in world weightlifting. At only 15 years of age, she's already dominating the 69 kg class in the UK and last year won the European Youth Championship in the over 73 class, overcoming much heavier opponents. She holds too many English, British and European records to list. Welcome, Rebekah Tiler. Hi Rebekah, how are you?
I'm good, yeah.
Good. Well, welcome to the show.
You've already told us today's been a rest day for you. How many days a week do you get not to train?
5 times a week I train for 2 hours.
Okay.
Wow. So what's your other rest day?
Just Saturday and Sunday if I get a chance. Normally I'm competing and stuff, so...
Sure.
Yeah, so often the rest days aren't even rest days.
No.
When you've done a competition, do you have a week off or are you straight back into training?
Probably straight back into training, but it's like light. It's not really like heavy
Okay.
rope.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I guess the rest of your time is dominated by school, I guess.
Yeah.
It's incredible, isn't it? When you speak to the younger lifters, obviously everyone goes to work and stuff like that, but it just seems like for me, it seems like such a long time ago, that thought of going to school and then having to go and do your sport.
Yeah.
So just initially, just tell us a little bit about, you're growing up, other sports that you might have been involved in, how you got introduced to strength training and then eventually into weightlifting.
Well, I started off as a sprinter like at 10.
Yeah.
I got tested at a perform centre for like strength. Like the coach noticed my strength straight away, said I should take it up, and I did.
Yeah. So had you been exposed to other strength sports before? Did you, I don't know, growing up, did you like
I
strength
did
training?
a little bit of bodybuilding with my dad.
Yeah?
Okay.
Old, just like curling and just like teaching him and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So.
Was he like a recreational bodybuilder or competitive or
No, it was just normal, yeah.
just playing around in the?
Yeah.
Were either of your parents sporty people? Did they ever play any sports?
My dad used to do sprinting as well, so
Yeah.
I would get that. That's where I get it from.
So there's a bit of genetics there. Okay. Is your mum there with you now?
Yeah, she's on the sofa now.
Hello, Mrs. Tyler.
Hello.
Cool.
So you obviously were quite a good sprinter. I think at one point you were ranked 7th in the country at under 13 in the 100 metres.
Yeah, I was UK champion 4 times in a row.
And UK champion.
Yeah.
So you must have always had a passion for sprinting. What was it that made you decide to, or what made you feel that perhaps you had a better chance of success in weightlifting?
I think because I couldn't really beat the Jamaicans and stuff like that because they were really fast. I don't really know. I just decided that I should do weightlifting because it might be better for me.
Yeah, and more. Yeah, I guess was it something?
Like I was stronger than I was faster, so.
Okay.
So you felt it suited you genetically better. Did you, in terms of passion for both of the sports, which one do you I guess have more of a love for, or did you have more of a love for?
Probably weightlifting.
Yeah,
I've always liked to be strong and show people that I'll lift, that I can. I'm a girl and I can lift heavy weights and stuff.
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. When you were a sprinter then, were you used to training? Did you do a sort of similar training regime sprinting? You were in the gym?
I was training really professionally, from the age of 9.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Usain Bolt, pulling. I had weights behind me and I used to run up hills and stuff.
No way.
So which athletics club were you at in the north?
I was at Bingley Harriers.
You were at Bingley Harriers. And was strength and conditioning a big part of their philosophy in terms of athletics at the club?
I don't think so, no.
Okay, so it was. So you went to the performance centre for testing.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
My coach said he wants me to make me a bit faster and stuff and a bit stronger, and he took me to this performance centre. And this coach said I was really strong and you should be in weightlifting team for a joke.
Okay.
And actually, a week later, I actually joined and really enjoyed it.
Do you know what the name of the centre was? Was it actually called Performance Centre?
It was a performance centre in Blackstone.
I know of it very well, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know of it really well. So how then did you kind of start to get the link into the British weightlifting setup and kind of get on their radar?
Well, I went from talent to GB, so the talent people noticed me that I was really good, and they said that you should go to elite level because you're that good now.
Yeah. Okay. So at what point did you get handed over in a sense to Eddie Halstad for your coaching?
I started off with Tamas, the head coach of British Weightlifting. I did a little bit of training with him, and then I met up with Eddie like at a competition, and he said that he wants me to like go train with him and see how it's going to work out.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. So.
And what's like kind of your relationship like with Eddie as a coach? You get on well, and
Yeah, he's really nice.
yeah, he's a great guy, isn't he, Eddie?
Yeah.
I love Eddie. And what were kind of his first? Who was handling your programming initially? Was it Eddie or was it Tamas at that stage?
It was Tamas at that stage, and then Eddie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Eddie tends to follow what Tamas prescribed initially, but has had a bit more input since.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now Eddie trains me now.
Okay, so Eddie's 100% now.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And at what point in your mind did it become clear to you that weightlifting was something that you were going to be really good at? When was the kind of the light bulb moment?
Don't really know. Just when I got into talent, I thought I'm just going to stick at this now because I really enjoy it, and that's when I got sprinting. So, yeah.
Have there ever been some times where you thought to yourself, maybe this isn't for me?
No, never.
No.
I've always enjoyed lifting heavy weights and stuff. So.
Are you quite a confident person generally in your life? Do you feel?
Yeah, I think
A lot of self-belief. Yeah.
I think you have to be in this sport.
I think you do, and it was actually something that I'd actually kind of noted down. Was obviously last year, like every lifter, you're going to have performances that perhaps don't meet your own high standards. And I think like the one that jumped to mind was the British champs last year. How did you and how do you kind of psychologically process those kind of things, those setbacks, I guess, or?
I just like move on now. I mean, you can't do anything about it. I bombed out.
Yeah.
I just move on from that and just learn from it, really. So yeah.
And I guess think about what you can change in the future rather than what's already gone. Yeah.
Why do you think that? I'm sure you don't want to think about that day too much, but what do you think was about that day that happened? Why did you bomb out that day?
I think I rushed my lifts. Okay. I think I was a bit nervous. I was more nervous than I was because it was a British competition,
Sure.
my first British seniors. So I don't know. I just felt a bit more nervous.
You're a very quick lifter, though. I've found. When you probably more so in your clean and jerk, but even in your snatch, you're very much right. Hands on the bar, feet in position, bang, gone. And in your clean and jerk, it's hands on the bar, done. It's terrible if you're trying to take photos because you think, oh crap, she's already gone.
Is that something that you were taught to do, or something that just came naturally?
I think it's something that I've just naturally done.
Just get set and go. Yeah.
Anyone ever commented on it?
A lot of people have.
Yeah.
You just grab it and you just go.
I think there's a lot in that. If you get on a bar and you think about it too long, soon you're going to be thinking about missing it. And someone like Ilya Ilin takes a very similar stage, especially for his clean and jerk, hands on the bar and he's off straight away.
Yeah.
And look at him, he's done fairly well.
Yeah. And I guess that was that one of the first competitions that you'd really been at where you were anticipating a head-to-head with another lifter?
Yeah, I was competing with Emily Godley and there was Sarah Davis and stuff, so there was a lot of pressure there that I was...
Yeah. I guess for one of the first times really for you.
Yeah, it was.
And it was very hot in that building.
Oh, it was hot.
Killer, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
And so just kind of talk us through what kind of in your mind, in your relatively short career so far, stand out as the real key highlights for you.
Probably being European champion and Commonwealth champion.
Yeah. So that was
all British records.
Yeah, so do you know what the running total is now in terms of kind of English and British records?
I think it's like over 200.
Over 200, that's incredible, isn't it? It's amazing. And just thinking back to that European, it was European Youth Championships in Lithuania last year.
Yeah.
And obviously I say you it's kind of funny at junior level or youth level lifting, isn't it, that the heaviest weight class starts off relatively, 63 kilo plus. So you're in there with girls that are potentially over 100 kilos.
Yeah.
Which is kind of, it does seem a bit crazy when you watch it sometimes. But just tell us a little bit about the build up to that competition, and your experiences in Lithuania. Any kind of funny stories? Anything you can get away with telling us about what was happening over there, and just your experiences and memories of it.
I just trained hard like a week before and just focused. I thought, this is going to be the biggest competition I've done in my life. I just need to focus now, not worry about anyone else.
Yeah.
Just go out there and lift and just bring on gold medals.
Yeah.
That's what I did. So.
And at what point do you, prior to a competition of that magnitude, Are you training pretty much right up until the competition?
Yeah.
So your kind of taper period, how long out from competition are you starting to dial back on the volume?
What do you mean by that?
Well, in terms of, say some lifters a couple of weeks out from competition will start to they'll train a little bit less. They'll keep the kind of percentages up and the weights that they're lifting relatively high, but they'll drop back in terms of how many times a week they maybe lift, or they'll drop back in terms of how many sets and repetitions they're doing in training. Is there a distinct period before competition that you maybe just reduce the overall amount of training and stuff?
Yeah, so say I won't train Thursday and Friday if I had a competition Saturday. So
Okay.
Wednesday it'd be just like power cleans, power snatches.
Yeah.
Just really light.
Okay. Yeah, but up until that Wednesday, it's pretty much training as normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow, okay.
Okay. And
How far behind a big competition like that, do you start to almost get the nerves creeping in, and thinking, wow, it's a big competition?
Probably like a week before. It clicks in my head that I'm going to this place. I'm going to be really nervous, but it don't really worry me.
No,
Yeah.
it hasn't really affected you yet.
No.
And obviously Tamas and now Eddie have obviously handled your programming, so you probably don't think about it too much. But
No.
What kinds of when you're coming into big competitions, at what kind of point do you start mainly hitting heavy single lifts, heavy single snatches, and heavy single clean and jerks?
Probably like that Monday and Tuesday.
Really, that's
Yeah.
That's it. But before that, you haven't really been going near maxes.
No,
Okay.
It's just normal training, like maybe like snatch, hang, front blocks and stuff like that.
Okay.
Are there any essences of your training that you don't like? Are there
No.
things you prefer?
I enjoy everything really.
Yeah?
Wow.
Which do you prefer, the snatch or the clean and jerk?
Probably the clean jerk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in terms of programs and training and coaching, how did you feel that Eddie and Tamas differed, and how did you feel they were quite similar?
I think they just both got on really well and sorted it out really.
Between them, so it was a good working relationship. And in terms of how they were training you, was it similar?
It was similar, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you mentioned the Europeans, and you said what was the other highlight that you mentioned?
The Commonwealth.
Winning the
Championship.
Commonwealth Championships.
Yeah, in Malaysia.
Where was that again?
In Malaysia.
In Malaysia. So it must have been a pretty incredible trip.
Yeah.
Was it the furthest the furthest from home you'd been?
Yeah.
Yeah. And just to tell us a bit about your memories of being in Malaysia.
It was really hot. I remember that, and the training venue was outside, which was weird, which I hadn't done before. So
Really?
it was really good.
Yeah. What was the food like?
It was real spicy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
I wasn't really used to that.
And so you're
I
there.
like spicy food, but not like every day.
So obviously, when you go away, you're there with a team, with a team of English and probably British lifters. Are you someone that likes to be in that team environment, or are you someone that likes to be a bit more by yourself and have your own space and time?
I like doing stuff. I don't like sitting down and being bored. I like going out and like seeing the place and stuff.
Sure. And who would you say are your biggest influences in the sport? Whether it's whether it's your coaches or whether it's other lifters that you come into contact with, friends, family, and what other lifters around the world do you like to watch and kind of look up to?
Probably like you said, Illy Illen.
Yeah.
I just follow his strategies and stuff that he does,
Yeah.
and just like people who are better than me.
Yeah. And do you in terms of in the sport, I guess Eddie's one of your biggest influences.
Yeah.
Are there any other? Because one of the other things, obviously, that jumps to mind is the obvious comparisons with Zoe and the way that Zoe Smith came up at a young age, similar to the way you have. How do you, when you think about Zoe and her progression through the sport, how do you see it? What comes to mind? Was her success as a young female lifter, was that something that particularly encouraged you, or did it not really go through your mind?
Don't really go through my mind really.
No.
No. She seems a really nice girl, and I hadn't really spoke to her, but she seemed really good and talented like me. So yeah, it's good.
How about Michaela Breeze? Have you had much to do with Michaela?
I haven't really spoke to him, to be honest. I've been focusing on my training and stuff. But,
Yeah.
We were looking at the senior records that are held in your category now. You're 69 now, aren't you?
Yeah.
So it looks like Michaela Breeze is the record holder for snatch, clean and jerk and total. So it's 98 snatch, which is a fair lump. You know, if we're honest, that's pretty impressive. 1, 2, 3 clean and jerk, equally a pretty big lump, but not far off for you now. So those together are 2, 2, 1. You know, you could easily do the clean and jerk very quickly, I assume. But how long do you think it will take you to get up to that 98 snatch?
Hopefully this year.
Really?
This year?
Yeah, this year, hopefully, yeah.
So you think
If I
you're...
keep training hard and stuff, so...
So you anticipate yourself taking the senior British record at 69 in all three records, snatch, clean and jerk and total this year?
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah?
Maybe even at the Commonwealth Games?
See what happens, yeah.
Brilliant.
Cool.
That's great. So obviously coming up in 2014, the big competition is the Commonwealth Games. So you must be, I would have thought, a relatively sure selection. I mean, obviously, you never want to count your chickens, but most people would think that you would be very unlikely not to get selected. So touch wood, everything goes okay. You end up in Glasgow. What are your feelings on Commonwealth Games, and you know, what are you kind of thinking about at the moment? You know, with only a few months to go, really.
I think at this stage it's just going to be a good experience.
Yeah.
I'll just go out there and just see how they lift and just bring it home and then train hard and hopefully 2020.
Also, I hear that
16 as well.
The food up in Scotland's interesting, especially in Glasgow. They specialise in deep fried anything. So it's going to be like a Malaysia thing, a bit spicy this time. Everything's fried.
I have to get used to it.
Have to get used to it. Yep, got to take the rough with the smooth.
But then again, Rebecca, you're in Halifax, Rebecca.
Yeah.
So you're getting closer and closer and closer to Scotland. So it's probably less odd for you than it is for us Southerners.
Yeah. True. So let's talk a little bit about, you know, let's forget the weightlifting for a second. So you're at school, you know, 5 days a week like everyone else. How do the other kids, the other girls at school treat you? Do they obviously know about your weightlifting? Are you a normal girl at school?
Yeah, people just like a bit scared of me. Like, don't mess with Rebecca, she might knock you out. But I'm not like that. No. They just treat me equally. Okay.
And what about the teachers? Do they, you know, I'm trying to think. Would a teacher say, "Oh, there's a heavy chair over there. I'll get Rebecca to lift it"?
Yeah, they do that a lot.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And what other stuff do you do in your spare time? What kind of, you know, hobbies, things that what are your favourite pastimes and stuff outside of weightlifting and school?
Well, I like shooting.
Okay.
Shooting?
Yeah.
Is it clay pigeon shooting?
A modern day British youth then?
Target shooting.
Okay.
Yeah, I just like going out with my family and shooting and going out for walks and shopping and
Cool.
stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so shopping sounds quite reasonable. Shooting though, that's different. That's brilliant.
I think it's relaxing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that something that your family have always been interested in doing or interested in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And when did you start? When did you handle your first shotgun?
Probably when I was like last year. Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Well, that's fun. Do you not? We used to shoot a little bit years ago, and I used to. Well, I did anyway. I used to find that it was the recoil on the gun is pretty strong, but I guess that's something that you handle pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever fired an AK-47?
No.
No.
We did, and it's brutal.
Yeah. That's what you want to do. You want to shoot your pigeons with that. Shoot your clay pigeons with that. And so, just take us through your goals for the future in the sport. What are you, when you get to your point one day, a long way in the future, when you hang your weightlifting shoes up and retire? What do you want to be looking back having achieved?
World champion and Olympic champion, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is the pinnacle, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I guess if you're not aspiring for that in any sport, then you're setting your sights too low. And when would you predict in your mind that you may be able to achieve that? At what kind of date, in a sense? What years?
I'm not sure yet, but maybe 2020.
2020.
So is that Japan?
Yeah, that's in Japan.
yeah.
It's Tokyo.
It's gonna be cool.
Tokyo, yeah.
Wow.
And how do you? I mean, obviously, if you were to achieve that, what it would do for British weightlifting would be quite dramatic. I think. I don't think we have that. I mean, for you coming up in the sport, for example, there aren't too many role models for you to look at in Britain.
No.
You know, you coming into the sport, I guess, is, we get the lifters like yourself and Zoe and people like Darius, Jokozade through almost by accident, really. It's not so much by design. And when you were coming into the sport, there wasn't a David Beckham to look at, as or a Jessica Ennis or these kind of people in our sport. What do you feel that you would like to be able to do for the sport, I guess, if you achieve that kind of level?
I'd like to promote more young people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's good, because it's getting like children off the street and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, as a youngster yourself, how do you think that we can get more kids into weightlifting?
Just advertising it more, just getting more people like noticed, and don't know really.
What do you think that British weightlifting could do for you to make your life easier and to keep you wanting to train and be a weightlifter?
Just keep helping me, doing everything, giving me supplements and just helping me out.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I guess, obviously you are, I think, one of the youngest funded athletes in the country across any sports.
I was but they've stopped the funding at the moment, so
sure.
It's really hard. I need sponsors now, so if anyone would sponsor me, it'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's the question I was going to come on to, really, because obviously there was this issue over UK sport withdrawing their funding for athletes, and I wasn't aware that British Weightlifting's that actually stopped giving the money out yet. But obviously, as you've said, that you've stopped receiving your funding. How much is that going to affect you? How much is that going to affect your life and your ability to train and everything else?
I mean, it's going to affect me a lot, because I'm not going to get to places. Normally I used to use the money on travel cost and supplements, but now I'm not going to be able to get to these places and bring home gold medals, so it's going to be really tough.
Yeah, sure. And obviously some of the guys at the moment are out in Colorado at the Olympic Training Center in the States. Were you ever in consideration to be going out there, or was there a reason that you didn't go?
There was a reason I didn't go, because I just got back from France.
From France,
I thought it'd be a bit too much.
Okay.
Especially when I've got Commonwealth Games coming up as well, so I thought I needed to train. And it wasn't really it wasn't even a competition, so it was just like a little holiday, really. Yeah. But if it was a competition, I would have gone.
Yeah. And do you know how much was it? You mentioned sponsorship, and you need sponsors, and obviously anyone that's tuning into this and listening to this and is looking to sponsor Rebekah, you can get in touch with us, and we'll put you in touch. But what kind of autonomy and ability do you have to go out and get sponsors for yourself? And in terms of, for example, you go to a Commonwealth Games, do you have the ability to sell sponsorship and put it on your singlet, or is that something that's controlled by British Weightlifting, or?
I think it's controlled by British Weightlifting, that, I think, yeah.
Yeah. So in a sense, it does restrict you a little bit in terms of how much you can go out and get, which does seem like a bit of a shame, given that your funding's not there anymore.
Yeah, it's a big.
And I wonder maybe if that will change now the funding's not there. Maybe you will have a bit more leeway.
I'm hoping it's going to change.
Yeah. But obviously there is the chance with the appeal that you may end up getting it back. That is something that's in the works, isn't it?
Yeah, that'd be good.
So fingers crossed.
Yeah.
But just before we tie it up, is there anything that you would particularly like to talk about that's unrelated to weightlifting, or anything that any charities that you particularly support or are involved in, or anything at all that you would like to make, or your Twitter account, anything at all that you would like to make people aware of that are listening to this?
TV programs you like?
Not really, no.
No?
I just like people to sponsor me.
Yeah. Just give me some money.
Yeah.
Right. The shotgun will come in handy if you want money.
More followers as well.
That's it. Maybe you can get someone like Purdy to sponsor you.
Yeah. Like a shotgun company.
Yeah.
So your Twitter account is?
Just Rebekah Tiler.
At Rebekah Tiler.
Yeah.
So people can follow Rebekah. And like I say, if you are listening to this and you're interested in sponsoring Rebekah, get in touch with us. We'll get in touch with Rebekah and put you together.
And we're not going to take a cut.
No.
If you sponsor with supplements, we're not going to take a spoonful out and stick it in a drum. Completely not.
But listen, Rebekah, so thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate you giving us this time and giving us the interview. I'm sure we'll catch up with you again down the line. As your career develops. And well, best of luck for Commonwealths and British Seniors this year. I'm sure we'll see you at the British.
You know, it's so nice to see such a dedicated young person doing this.
Thank you. Thank you.
And it's always awesome to see you lift. You know, you're great at putting on videos and things on Twitter, and British Weightlifting are too. So it's always great to see you lift. But we're dead impressed. Always have been.
Thank you. Thank you.
And look forward to the future.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Guys,
Thanks so much.
Cheers, Rebecca.
Yeah,
Take
bye.
care. Have a lovely day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.